Hey everybody, Gregor Arturo here, and I want to talk about a fundamental concept in free energy and energy dynamics that a lot of people don't talk about. And it's a concept of a cyclical transformer. Now, you understand what a electrical transformer is. It transforms energy. It takes current and converts it into voltage, which is basically taking centrifugal force and converting it into centripetal force. You're polarizing the two, and you're creating a huge amount of potential. A piece of geometry that best exhibits this is the octagram, which I'm going to explain. But a basic concept is you have a primary, let's say it has 10 windings, and you pulse it. And there's a second winding, and these are magnetically coupled, say through iron. So you can have like a magnetic ring and have 2 windings on this ring, and they're magnetically coupled through the iron. Then the second winding, say, has 20, you just doubled the voltage, pulsing it through. You double the voltage, you cut the current in half. It transforms the energy, and it's considered the same amount of work as there. There's a little bit of a fallacy in that there's always more potential or more energy in voltage when you potentialize the electric potential, which is the second dimension. And so this is a fundamental concept, understanding a cyclical transformer. Magnetism, which is first dimensional energy, which is present in all the dimensions, but it's easiest to understand the first dimension, is a simple ring. In the vortex math, it's a circle. It's a twisting of energy. You can twist clockwise or counterclockwise. Well, the thing is, this twisting is constant in all directions. There's just different qualities of it. But if you want to create different potentials in different directions, such as polarization, so you get into the second dimension. So this is one ring, okay? We're adding a second ring. This is the second dimension. The second ring spins all around this one. And all that second ring does is it causes an expansion and contraction of these 2 overlapping magnetic fields. It's a breathing, implosion, explosion, contraction, expansion, cooling, heating. And so the fundamental with electricity is understanding the second dimension. It's a surface, okay? Now what's awesome about this piece of geometry is if you wanted to take a primary and pulse the secondary and increase that voltage, you want to then take that increased voltage and feed it back into the primary with a feedback loop and keep stepping up the voltage each time. The key is to step up the voltage at the golden ratio, and so it perpetually grows at the golden ratio. That's what this piece of geometry does, the octagram. Alright, now the octagram is 8 points, and it skips every 3 with its inverse 5. It's a Fibonacci triac relationship. That's what the Fibonacci sequence is about. It's about triac relationships. 3, 5, 8 has a triac relationship that's Fibonacci ratios. Well, the doubling sequence, 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, is about polar relationships. Okay? Woo. So, what's key about this, okay, is just the radii, okay? We take the center of this core, we measure the radii to, it's going to be the midpoint of one of these lines, which would be like right there, okay? The radius from that, let's call that, we'll call that the golden ratio, 1.618, okay? Now, if you take the radius from the center of this toroid, okay, to the outer rim, right, we'll call that 2.618. It's the square of the golden ratio, the inner radius from the outer radius. So what that creates is if we have this inner circle and this outer circle, there's going to be a midpoint circle between the two. And the midpoint circle divides the inner windings from the outer windings. Now what's key about that is there's an asymmetry between the inner windings and the outer windings. And the asymmetry is based on the golden ratio. So this piece of geometry right here, when you create it as a closed loop circuit, it becomes a cyclical transformer that steps up the voltage at the golden ratio continuously. Now ideally, you're going to use 2 of these coils stacked on top. And there's a bunch of different concepts. If you take a look at my vortex space, which I highly recommend you go do, I've been wanting to get a video to showcase a lot of the stuff I've been throwing on the vortex space. It's a lot easier to read and just sit there and look at the numbers and let it process visually and mentally. But if you go to vortexspace.org, and you go under personal VX spaces or wiki spaces. It's a wiki site for vortex mathematics researchers. You'll see my name, Gregor Arturo. I got a bunch of stuff up there going. I've broken things down to the first dimension, second dimension, and third dimension. First dimension is magnetism with oscillations and sequences and patterns. The second dimension gets into matrices and coils, which is the breathing of these patterns. And the third dimension is standing wave 3D geometry, like platonic solids, being created out of multiple coil configurations. So this guy, if we double the circuit, so there's two circuits, so it's 16 points, I'd sweet 16. You can take 4 hexagrams and stick it around it. Okay, and each hexagram provides the single pulse to pulse this coil, because each octagram circuit, there's 2 of them, has 2 pulses in it. So it has 2 pulses going in, and the other one has 2 pulses going in. And the hexagram will provide the firing sequence for that. Well, if you have 4 hexagrams around this double octagram, and the other one is double triangles, you can fold that piece of geometry, which looks like 5 elements, in on themselves to create a cube octahedron. And what that forms in the center is a standing wave piece of geometry of an octahedron, like a fluorite crystal, a magnetite crystal, because this forms a pyramid type geometry radiating out of it. And so if you have 6 of these octagram coils pointed at each other, it creates a standing wave of an octahedron. So when you see an octahedral crystal, there is actually these coils of energy spinning around it, causing it to manifest, or that piece of geometry at all. So third dimensional geometry crystals are made from standing wave nodes of these coils, and how these coils overlap to create crystal geometry. So the actual electric energy you're not seeing. You're just seeing third dimensional manifestation of light. Now light is a standing wave of electric oscillations overlapping each other. So I hope my terminology was simple. So if you see my other octagram video, this guy's been at the forefront of my mind for about 6+ months. I really suggest you start playing with it. I'm going to try to start playing with it. However, I am taking off for Boston and New York City tomorrow, and then go to North Carolina to go to an off-the-grid community. I'll probably be hitching New York City, have a ride down there. But while I'm throwing that out there, is if anyone's out there and they want to meet up with me and say hello and explore potentials and see where these synchronicities can lead us, and feel free to say hello. Otherwise, until then, I will talk to you later, and namaste. Thank you.